Hello again, this is Irv, and in this training video, we're going to be talking about creating a subtitled version of the last 7 episodes of Arquivo 0, also known as File 0. So if you're doing a dubbed version with voice actors, this video won't help you. So let's start by looking at the episodes in the Adobe Premiere project in our dubbing kit. So here's our dubbing kit, it's downloaded to your directories we talked about in the first video, and then here in projects, and I'm going to show it to you in the CS6 version there. I've got it all loaded up here. There are 2 timelines in here, and Arquivo 0 all episodes version 2. Each episode there's a gap between them, and at the beginning of the episode, if you look down here, there's a little timing blip. But this master timeline here, you've got all 14 episodes separated by little gaps of time. The other timeline that's in Premiere is called the Arquivo 0 episodes 8 to 14. In this timeline, all of the last 7 episodes are assembled together, but in the form of video that goes from beginning to end with no titles and that sort of thing on it. The reason for this was the initial strategy that Agape Spain developed centered around showing the last 7 episodes as one 25-minute video. That's why you see this other Arquivo 0 episodes 8 to 14 timeline here. That doesn't mean that your strategy has to use them this way. You could still use the master timeline and make each of the 14 episodes as individual episodes, and you could subtitle them or dub voices as you've seen in the other training videos in the series. If you do want this all-together edit of episodes 8 to 14 and you want to make a subtitled version, there's one more thing that we have to cover in this video, and that is how do I move my subtitles into the right place from the master timeline for File 0 to this all-together edit that we've got here. Let me illustrate the problem so that you'll understand the following steps. Here's another way of looking at the master timeline for the 14 episodes. A timeline that goes from 0 to 56 minutes and 12 seconds. The altogether edit of episodes 8 to 14 uses the last 7 episodes and makes a new timeline. A timeline then goes from 0 to 28 minutes 48 seconds, and of course the titles and the gaps are removed so that you have one continuous video. So going back to the Arquivo 0 episodes 8 to 14 timeline in Adobe Premiere, down here, what you are seeing is the audio from the master timeline used in a very careful manner. If we zoom in a bit here, and you can see that there are little crossfades as you go from one episode to another so that the transition with the music seems like it fits. So this is one way to make this video where you don't have to remake a new music and sound effects track, but you can use the audio from the master timeline if you just replace the soundtrack as we covered in a previous video. So with that being said, let's talk about what we have to do to make a subtitled version of this all-together edit. So let's go back to our dubbing kit here, and let's go into New Language, go into Translation, and let's pull up our Agisub list of all the lines and the loops. Again, just by way of review, in this effect field over here, normally the syllable count and each of the track assignments, so to speak, for the characters are there. And for loops where you have multiple characters saying the same thing, but you want to be able to record them separately, they're marked with track numbers, TK2 and higher. So you probably don't want those in your subtitles. So again, just by way of review, if we look in here and search for TK2, that was in the effect field here, and you see here's a part where they're all saying goodbye to each other. So we're going to take those 5 copies out and leave just the one. Let's go search again. Here's another place where all the characters are laughing. You only need just one of them, so let's delete the other 3. Here at the beginning of the film, both Nuta and Ergo are saying their line about the elder. We'll just keep the first one as a subtitle. Then we have where they're all talking and they're shocked Let's delete the second one, and I think if we search, yeah, there's no more. Okay, so we've deleted those duplicates out. Of course, we can export subtitles now to make a version that we're going to use in the TMPEG program. Let's browse where I want to put it. I'll just save it over this previous version that I have here. And then we'll get out of Agisub. So now you can see this is the file that we're going to import as our subtitles when we go into TMPEG here. So now this trick about moving the lines, if you go into the utilities directory and you'll see this little AC sub helper project, I've added the ability to have it read this, what I call a special versions.txt file. And what this is again, here's Archivo Cero episode 8 to 14. And you've got the 7 episodes. You've got the time codes here where each episode occurs in that master timeline. And then you have a number of how much you have to offset it earlier in time. These are in seconds, 1,710 seconds earlier in time to go into the new edit, the new altogether edit for this episode 8. Same for episode 9, 10 through 14. So I've done the hard work here of figuring out these time codes and the numbers. So hopefully it's as easy as possible here for you. So now if we run this program, because that special versions.txt file is there, it shows up as an option here. So again, we open that file that we exported. Again, if we want things in brackets, we can remove those. So now that things in square brackets aren't showing up. But the real fun is here, if we check this, all of a sudden, here is a line that it was the first line in episode 8. Let's go to the top here. Pay attention. Here comes ergo, only ergo. And now this has been renumbered to loop 1, or excuse me, subtitle 1, and occurring at this time code right here. And all the way through about 441 subtitles to the end of the video there. So it's gotten rid of the subtitles for the first 7 episodes. So this makes it really easy now that we can just, let's go ahead and save that. Let's call that clean 8 to 14 because it's a version just for episodes 8 to 14. So let's save that. So now if we run TMPEG, not sure where my icon went, so I'll just search for it here in Windows. Sorry, there it is, TMPEG Video Mastering Works. And now we'll start a new project, much like we saw in the previous video here, doing the same thing. And we'll get our video, yes, out of our source directory, again, and out of our dubbing kit, out of the source directory, the version of the video with 8 to 14, and then let's say you would add an audio track to that. Again, going into, say, your new language. Let's say I'm pretending that the 8 to 14 audio track that we talked about in a previous video, how to export that, export the audio track. So we're using that here as our audio source with this video. So now we got the picture, we've got the sound, and now we're going to go to our filters and add the subtitles that we just created. Again, we have to go, this is a list of filters. Right now we're not really using any of them, but the one that we want to use is the subtitle filter. So let's add that to our list, hit OK, and then go over here to subtitles, and now from the edit menu we're going to import our subtitles. So we'll go import the clean 8 to 14 subtitles that we just created. And now, if we play through this.
Nador, ya tenemos a Ergo. Sombra se ha quedado con Gora.
Sombra, ¿por qué siempre tienes que tomar las decisiones más inconvenientes?
So you can see there are our subtitles, and again, like we could go into our layout editor, and this is using layout number 1. We can change the size back down to 6%. We can go to turn align head, and some of these things that we talked about using in an earlier video. And move it to the bottom, whatever you want to do with your subtitles. You can check the previous video out or look in their manual. So now we've got the subtitles for 8 to 14, and they match our timings. If we jump around and see all the way down to episode 14, and then now we could add a video version of this file. So again, say an MPEG-4, choose our various parameters, choose how we want it to encode it, and then from this point we can carry on with the steps outlined in the previous video, how to export it. But now the subtitles match the timeline for episodes 8 to 14. All is one video with your new soundtrack. So again, you can leave a question on the YouTube page. So thanks again. God bless you in your efforts as you work on this. And let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.